Hi students, welcome to our class on machine learning. So myself Dr. M. Tirupati Rao, working as associate professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, VIIT, Visakhapatnam. So far we had covered the first unit and completed the first unit regarding the machine learning basics. So different types of machine learning techniques like supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning, and of course various techniques that can be covered under the supervised and unsupervised and reinforcement learning had discussed, and some of the real time applications also we had discussed. So now today we are starting the second unit. So I told you the second unit is basically purely about the supervised learning and its techniques. So the main techniques that will cover under this second unit under supervised learning are the classification and regression. So here you can see the the title of the second unit is classification and regression. So basically we will see here the first topic classification and second one is regression models. So some of the initial techniques or initial topics in the second unit covers the classification, and rest of the topics in the second unit covers the regression models. So what is the classification, what is regression, what are various techniques available under classification, and what are various techniques available for regression, and of course several algorithms that will cover under the supervised learning like this decision trees, ID3, C4.5, KNN, and of course CART algorithm. So these are some of the important algorithms we will cover under this classification and regression models in the second unit. So these are the contents of this lecture. So first we will see the linear separability, then we will see the decision regions, and of course we will see the linear discriminates. The main objective of this topic or this lecture is that student can aware of the major techniques in supervised learning, that is classification and regression, and he can know what is the classification, what is regression, and what are various topics covered under this classification regression models, and of course he can learn about the linear separability, decision regions, and linear discriminates. And the outcome of this, the student can understand and can have a better knowledge and better idea about these various techniques that will cover under this supervised learning. Okay. So before going to the second unit, detailed topics, topic wise, first of all you try to understand this slide, so which will give you a clear picture about what are various techniques that will come under supervised and unsupervised, and how you are going to work on various problems. See, suppose you take this as a table, so you have first, you have rows or tuples you can say, and you have the columns here. So I kept here for your better understanding. You see this, first of all we will see the row wise, then we will come the column wise. First we see in the row 1, here this is unsupervised learning model. The techniques which will cover here are the dimension reduction and clustering model. And second thing, in supervised learning we will have the regression and of course classification model. This is the basic thing we know. Now coming to the column wise, now you see this. So that if the data is a continuous data, and if you are going to predict a quantity, then you can use, in supervised learning you use the regression model, whereas in unsupervised model you use the dimension reduction. That means suppose you have a problem. I had given you a problem. Now you need to understand what about the data, whether the data in that problem is a continuous data or discrete data. Suppose if it is a continuous data, then you can consider this one. If it is a discrete data, you continue with this. So then my next question is whether I am going to predict a quantity or a category. The main difference here is the quantity means size. So take it as 300, 400, like this, a quantity, whatever it may be. Category means categorizing. Suppose you take the students. If you categorize the students, you will have two categories mainly. One is the boys, second one is the girls. So like this, you want to classify the data based on some condition or based on a category, you want to separate the data. Such applications will come under this discrete applications. Whereas you want to predict some quantity like 300, 400, 500, that will come under this continuous data. Now the question is, I had given you a problem. Now by understanding this problem, first you have to understand whether that is a continuous data problem or discrete data problem. If it is a continuous data problem, now you have to identify whether you are going to predict a quantity or category. If you want to go for a quantity, then you will go for this. If the data is continuous and it is you are going to perform or measure the quantity, then you want to implement whether you need to implement the supervised learning or unsupervised learning. If you are going to use this supervised learning combination there, you will use the regression there. If you want to use this unsupervised model for a continuous data with measuring a quantity or predicting a quantity, then you can use this dimension reduction. In the similar way, the data which you have was a discrete data and predicting a category, then you can implement this classification if the problem under is a supervised learning. If the problem is under the unsupervised learning, you go for the utilization of this clustering model. So this is the major difference and major problem solving by using these supervised and unsupervised models. Okay. So now go to these types of supervised learning. So I already told you in my previous slides and previous lectures. So basically supervised learning is classified into two types. So the first one is the classification, second one is the regression. So classification, so it's a process of categorizing a given set of data into classes. So basically in classification, you are going to categorize or separate a big data into separate classes. That is the main process followed in the classification. So it can be performed on both structured and unstructured data. So here there is no condition for any data model. So you can access or you can use the structured data or unstructured data for this classification model. Some of the examples are you can use speech recognition, face detection, handwriting recognition and document classification. So speech recognition like your mobile phones, so whether the voice belongs to that person or not. Face detection, whether the mobile user or whoever is using that gadget, his face key can keep as a password. So whether the face of that fellow is matching or not can be used this face detection. And handwriting recognition, this application is mainly used in the bank where the signature of the customer, whoever is having the account, should match with the person, whoever is coming next time to withdraw some money. So there this handwriting recognition is very much useful. And of course document classification, I already told you different types of documents are available. So better thing is classifying the documents based on the topics. So this is the thing about this classification. Now coming to this second type of supervised learning, that is the regression. So basically regression is a statistical model and it will give you the relationship between a dependent variable and an independent variable where there should be minimum one independent variable should be there. That is the major definition of this regression model. And moreover, this regression is mainly used to predict or forecast the values. So it can be mainly used for the prediction of data like rainfall prediction, share market prediction, price of an object, price of a product in market. Like this, all the prediction and forecasting examples or models can be used by using this regression model. So these are some of the classification methods that were available in literature. So Fisher linear discriminant analysis, maximum likelihood discriminant rule, and quadratic discriminant and linear discriminant, and so on, nearest neighbor classification, classification regression tree, CART algorithm I told you, and aggregating and bagging. So these are some of the famous techniques that were available for implementing the classification mechanism for any application. So coming to our actual topic, that is linear separability. So basically now we need to see what is this linear separability and why it is so important in this classification. See, let us see what is this linear separability. So it affects what algorithm can and may be used to solve a problem. So basically this linear separability will give you for a better understanding, so whether a problem can be solved or not, or in what method you can choose to solve that particular problem can be understood in a better way by using this linear separability. For example, if you have a problem where the two data sets are linearly inseparable, then you are facing an NP completeness problem. Suppose you can able to solve a problem or you can able to separate the data in a linear way, then it is very easy to work with such data. If it is very much difficult to separate such data, then it is the NP completeness problem and the data cannot be separated that much easy. So it is always suggested that if a data is linearly separable, then it is very easy to solve such problems. In the same way, if a data is very linearly non-linear or linearly inseparable, then it is very difficult for a programmer or a developer such that to classify such data. See, a data set which is not linearly separable is much harder to classify. So, you need to use more and more techniques, or rigorously you need to work such that to classify such type of data sets. So, see what is this linear separability. Consider two input parameters or patterns being classified into two classes as shown in figure. See, here two patterns are there, O is one pattern and X is pattern, and a group of patterns O's are kept as one class, another class is taken as a group of X numbers are classified into another class. See, each point with either symbol of X or O represents a pattern with a set of values. So, all these pattern can be represented with O and with a set of values. Maybe here we wrote all O's, but each O may have different value also. Each pattern is classified into one of two classes. So, each pattern is here classified into two classes. So, class O and class X is the two classes. See, then what is happening? Notice that these classes can be separated with a single line L. See here, this single line, a single line is being separated, these two classes, and this separated line is represented with a capital L. You remember this? That means they are known as linearly separable patterns, because we can separate the two patterns by taking a surface region L. So, here this line represented with L can be represented as the surface region or surface line. In the case above, the line L represents the decision surface. So, the line here can be taken represented as decision surface. So, here based on this decision surface condition, you are going to separate the data. Suppose you take the students as a simple class big data set, you can classify the data set into two parts simply taking a condition, that is the gender. Based on the gender of the student, you are going to classify the entire student data into two parts or two classes. So, boys is a one set or one class, girls is another class. So, simply taking a single surface region L condition, L equal to gender. So, based on the gender, I am going to classify my entire data set of students into boys one set of class of students and girls one set of class students. So, simply this is the thing for this linear separability. So, this is the main difference between the linear separability and non-linear separability. See, here all the factors are classified into two sets, yellow color and blue color, and it is separated by this single line, and this is a linear line. So, this is L, linear line. Whereas you see this non-linear, here also the separation of the two data sets are done, but the separation is in a single line fashion, and this line is in the non-linear fashion. So, that is the major difference between the linear separability. Then coming to these decision regions, see, in general a pattern classified carves up the feature space into volumes called the decision regions. So, whatever the feature space we have, that can be called as volumes, and volumes can be considered here as the decision regions. All feature vectors in a decision region are assigned to the same category. So, whatever the content is there in that decision region, all are assigned to a same category. That is the main difference. The decision regions are often simply connected, but they can be multiply connected as well. That means the decision regions can be simply connected, that is one to one they can be connected, and one to many also connected. That means simply they can be connected, and parallelly also they can be connected, or in a multiple fashion also they can be connected. The decision regions are separated by surfaces called the decision boundaries. So, in linear separability, we are calling the region where we are going to separate the two regions or two data sets can be called a surface region or decision surface. Here the point where you are going to classify the data into two separate regions can be called as the decision boundaries. So, in linear separability, the factor or the line with which you are going to separate the data into two subclasses can be called as decision surface, whereas in decision regions, the factor with which you are going to separate the data can be called as decision boundaries. These separating surfaces represent points where there are ties between two or more categories. So, this can be understood very easily. So, basically these decision regions are pattern classifiers which carves into feature space of volumes which called the decision regions, and these regions are going to be represented, and when these decision regions for linear separability, we have the linear line which can be called as decision surface, and here in decision regions we are going to call the same condition as decision boundaries, that is the decision regions. Now coming to the linear discriminates, the third concept in this basics of this second unit. So linear discriminates, see linear discriminant or Fisher's linear discriminant, both we can call as same. So it is a method used in statistics, pattern recognition and machine learning. So basically this linear discriminant model is used in the statistics, pattern recognition, that means identifying the pattern or recognizing the pattern, and of course in machine learning, and it is used to find, so what we are going to find, a linear combination of features. So a linear combination, you remember this, it is the combination of features in the linear, it is not in the non-linear. So one by one, all are in the linear fashion, and a linear combination of features that characterizes or separates two or more classes or objects, That means a linear combination of features, a set of features that are going to characterize the two or more classes of objects or event. So basically this linear discriminant is used to characterize the classes or events in a linear fashion. That is the major thing with this linear discriminant. So the resulting combination may be used as a linear classifier. So whatever the resultant we had applied, we had got after applying this linear discriminant, this can be used as a linear classifier. So basically it's a classifier, means we had already designed something like that, a classifier we have, or more commonly for dimensionality reduction before classification. So before we are going to classify the things, we can use this linear discriminant as a dimensionality reduction, such that at first you have 10 number of values in a data set, it is very difficult for you to classify such data. Now you can apply this linear discriminant such that you can reduce the dimension of the data set, and then you can apply the classification models on that particular data set. So basically this is the main utilization of this linear discriminant. And then it is mainly used to express one dependent variable as a linear combination of other features or measurements. So basically here it mainly represents to express one dependent variable. So one dependent variable as a linear combination of other features. So basically it is used for one dependent variable. So one dependent variable one we are taking here, and we can representing this dependent variable as a linear combination of other features or measurements. So suppose you are taking that value as a dependent variable x, so it is a combination of y plus z plus a plus b, like this. All these are the linear combination of features or measurements. So that is the linear discriminant. Basically why we need to use this discriminant? Basically we cannot implement directly a classification model on a particular data set, such that if you reduce the dimension of the data set, it can be easily implied or used this classification model. So basically this linear discriminant can be used in some of the machine learning applications for this. That is the main advantage of these discriminates. So these are some of the textbooks that were prescribed in your syllabus. So the famous textbook is the Machine Learning, written by Tom Mitchell, and some of the other textbooks which were prescribed by several authors here, and you can see these are some of the reference books that can be used for your better understanding of this subject, and these are some of the references where I had collected this content for preparing this lecture. So thank you one and all for giving me this opportunity.